substances are made up of only one kind of particle and they have the same composition throughout. Mixtures are not pure substances. Only elements and compounds are pure substances. For example, elements like hydrogen and oxygen and compounds like water and carbon dioxide. What is rusting? Rusting is actually a chemical process. Rusting of an article made up of iron is called corrosion. It is a chemical change because a new substance, hydrated iron oxide, called rust, is formed. For example, when iron combines with oxygen in the presence of water, hydrated iron oxide forms. The term rust and rusting only means oxidation of iron and its resulting products. Many other oxidation reactions exist which do not involve iron or produce rust, but only iron or alloys that contain iron can rust. However, the other metal can corrode or oxidize in similar way. Physical change versus chemical change. In physical change, change of matter that occurs without changing the chemical composition of matter. But in chemical change, a chemical change is a change of chemical composition of matter. In physical change, process is usually reversible, but in chemical change it is irreversible. In physical change, new products are not formed. In chemical change, new products are formed. In physical change, some changes occur when heating or cooling is done. But in chemical change, changes always involve absorption or release of energy. In physical change, changes have no effect on the chemical bonds of molecules of a substance, but in chemical change, there is a direct effect on chemical bonds of molecules in a substance. We have an exercise where there is a problem when two substances A and B were made to react to form a third substance like A to B. According to the given expression, what do you say? Which of the statement concerning the reactions are correct? Number one is the product A to B shows the property of substances A and B. The product will always have a fixed composition. The product so formed cannot be classified as a compound, or the product so formed is an element. So here the product to A to B is a new compound formed, hence it does not show properties of A and B. The composition of a compound is fixed. It will have a new properties. Another problem says two chemical species X and Y combines together to form a product P which contains both X and Y. So we have to describe X and Y cannot be broken into simpler substances by simple chemical reaction. Which of the concerning species of X and Y and P are correct according to the statement? Here P is a compound, or X and Y are compound, or X and Y are elements, or P has a fixed composition. So here the answer is number one statement is right. P is a compound, X and Y are elements, and P has a fixed composition. Another question says what is mixture, and explain two types of mixture. You have to define as an exercise you're on, and you have to explain its two types. One is a heterogeneous mixture and other is the homogeneous mixture. When salt can be recovered from its isolation by evaporation, suggest some other techniques for the same. Salt solution can be concentrated by heating to make supersaturated solution. Crystallization will occur when the solution is left for cooling and salt will separate out from the solution. The seawater can be classified as a homogeneous as well as heterogeneous mixture. Comment. Actually, the seawater can be classified as a homogeneous mixture because it contains salt dissolved in the water. It can be classified as a heterogeneous mixture also since it contains mud, sand and decayed parts of plants. According to another question, while diluting a solution of salt in water, a student by mistake added acetone. What technique can be employed to get back the acetone? Justify a choice. Actually, the mixture of acetone and salt solution in the water can be separated by distillation, since a difference in their boiling points in more than 25 degrees Celsius. Acetone will evaporate and get condensed, first leaving behind the salt solution. What would you observe when a saturated solution of potassium chloride prepared at 60 degrees Celsius is allowed to cool to room temperature? Actually, the crystals of potassium chloride will separate out. What would you observe when an aqueous sugar solution is heated to dryness? Here, on heating the sugar solution, water will evaporate first. Once the solution dries up, it would turn black and sugar will get charred, like blackened or hard. So, what will you observe when a mixture of iron filling and sulfur powder is heated strongly? Iron sulfide is formed when a mixture of iron fillings and the sulfur is heated strongly. Explain why particles of a colloidal solutions do not settle down when they left undisturbed, while in case of a suspension they do. So the answer is the size of the colloidal particle in a colloidal solution is smaller than suspension. These particles are in a random motion, hence do not settle down when left undisturbed. The particles of suspensions are bigger and they tend to settle down under the effect of gravity. Smoke and fog both are aerosols. In what ways they are different? According to my answer, what the other says also, in smoke the dispersed phase is solid and dispersion medium is gas. In fog the dispersed phase is liquid and dispersion medium is gas. Classify the following as physical or chemical properties. The composition of a sample of a steel is 98% iron, 1.5% carbon and 0.5% other elements. So we have to classify what kind of physical or chemical property. So this is a steel which contains a different percentage of iron, carbon and other element. So it is a physical property. The zinc dissolve in hydrochloric acid with the evolution of hydrogen gas. So it is a kind of chemical property. Metallic sodium is soft enough to be cut down with a knife. It is also a physical property. Most metal oxides from the alkalis on interacting with water, as there is a reaction, as there is a process of reaction when the metal is oxidizing, so it is chemical property. When the teacher instructs 3 students like A, B and C respectively to prepare a 50% mass by the volume solution of sodium hydroxide, A dissolve 50 gram of NaOH in 100 ml of water, B dissolve 50 gram of NaOH in 100 gram of water, while C dissolve 50 gram of NaOH in water to make 100 ml of solution. Which one of them has made the desired solution and why? By the definition, 50% of mass by the volume percent solution means 50 grams of a solute dissolved in 100 ml of solution. Therefore, student C made the desired solution. Student A dissolved 50 gram of NaOH in 100 ml of water. So the solution is diluted and it is not a desired solution. By definition, 50% of mass by mass percent solution means 50 grams of a solute dissolved in 100 grams of solution. Student B dissolved 50 gram of NaOH in 150 gram of solution, so it is not desired solution. Even C has made the desired solution by dissolving 50 gram of NaOH in water to make volume of the solution 100 ml. So mass by percentage, mass of solute into 100 divided by volume of solution. Name the process associated with the following. When the dry ice is kept at the room temperature at 1 atmospheric pressure. So this is a process. This is a process of sublimation of dry ice, which converts into CO2, into carbon dioxide as a gas. Name the process when a drop of ink placed on the surface of water contained in a glass spreads throughout the water. It is a diffusion of ink into water because it is spread. one la- one Another question, a potassium permanganate crystal in a beaker and water is poured into the beaker with stirring. It is a diffusion or dissolution of solid into liquid. When an acetone bottle is left open and the bottle becomes empty, what happens? It is the evaporation, diffusion of acetone in air occurs. When milk is churned to separate cream from it, what process is this? This is centrifugation. Settling of sand, when a mixture of sand and water is left undisturbed for some times. This is sedimentation. Fine beam of light entering through a small hole in a dark room illuminates the particles of its path. Tyndall effect, or we can say scattering of light. Suppose you are given two samples of the water labeled as A, B. Sample A boils at 100 degrees Celsius and sample B boils at 102 degrees Celsius. Which sample of the water will not freeze at 0 degrees Celsius? Comment. Sample B, which boils at 102 degrees Celsius, contains impurities. It will not freeze at 0 degrees Celsius. There will be a depression in freezing point. What are the favorite qualities given to the gold when it is alloyed with copper or silver for the purpose of making ornaments? Pure gold is highly malleable and soft. When it is alloyed with copper or silver, it becomes hard and strong, can be molded into various shapes and designs. An element is sonorous and highly ductile. Under which category would you classify this element? What other characteristics do you expect the element to possess? It is a metal because it is hard and ductile. Normally metal occurs sonorous in sound and even shiny. The element is expected to be lustrous, malleable and good conductor of heat and electricity. Give an example each for the mixture having the following characteristics. Suggest a suitable method to separate the components of these mixtures. A volatile and a non-volatile component. So the answer, evaporation or distillation, common salt solution. Two volatile components with appreciable difference in boiling point. Here the distillation of acetone with water mixture. Two immiscible liquids, separation using separating funnel like oil and water mixture. One of the components changes directly from solid to gaseous state. Very common. This is the sublimation, mixture of common salt and ammonium chloride.